The Lifetime Achievement Award is something the local Tampa area local developed to recognize folks who have 40 years of service to the American labor movement. So there's nobody more appropriate to give a Lifetime Achievement Award than Richard Phillips. He's been around this local for 40 plus years. We can't go a day without opening a contract or opening a local contract or LMOU that you don't see some of Richard's handiwork in there. Employees have better jobs and better working conditions because of some of the things Richard did in those LMOUs years and years and years ago that still apply today.
Wow, what do you say about Richard Phillips? Well, let me start from the first time that I met him. Believe it or not, Richard Phillips intimidated the hell out of me. I was a brand new employee, 40 years of age, starting at the post office, and I felt like a kindergartner. Butterflies, I was in orientation, and this man walked in the room in a suit and a tie, and he said, "I'm the union." I looked at Richard and I went, wow. And you know, first impressions, boy, he sure made it.
When I first came to the hall, Richard never set me down and showed me how to do stuff. He just led by example. And I was probably here about a solid month, and we went right into a big event, a labor scheduler, where they were doing away with a lot of folks' jobs. And it was very intense and very fast-paced. And one day he was leaving work, and he came into my office and knocked on the door, and he said, "Look, I'm leaving, but you need to turn a coffee pot off." That's the first thing he told me to do. And I thought, God, I don't even drink coffee.
When I first started as a steward, Richard and I didn't get along very well because I was, like a lot of other people, stupid. I remember going into Richard's office one time and saying, "I'm doing an audit and I want to see the books." And he said, "You do you?" He showed me the books all right. He had everything marked. And, you know, if he was on leave, you knew it. He was just, he had everything covered. And then after a while, things cooled down. He got in office. I became his executive vice president. And then I tried to match Richard. Couldn't do it. I was always trying to beat him to work. And I remember one day, and Richard might not remember this, but I pulled in and it was 6:30 in the morning, and I'm like, I'm gonna get there before Richard gets there. And I pulled in and his car wasn't there. I walked in and the secretary was just getting there, and I said, I'm here before Richard. And she said to me, "Aren't you supposed to be at a meeting at the plant?"
The years that Richard Phillips dedicated his life to this local will never be matched.
A lot of people don't know this about Richard because they would have never known, but he lost 2 sons while he was in office, tragically, and he would have never known it. You would have never known it. I've known people that have known Richard for 20 years, and somebody will make a comment about how while he was in office he lost 2 sons, and they're like, "Gee, I never knew that." And they never knew it because Richard kept working. He kept working and working and working, and he was the most, and still is, the most dedicated union advocate and unionist that I've ever met.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Richard. He taught me everything I need to know about running this local, and I don't mean the contract stuff, more so how to act in front of people, how to talk to people, especially people you don't want to talk to, management you don't want to talk to, how to keep your cool, how to keep your head and say the things you need to say. I learned all that from Richard.
He was just very generous with his knowledge. Learned a lot from him, and I don't mean just contract. I mean how to deal with people, how to not deal with people sometimes, because I would say, "Richard," and he goes, "Well, you know, you got to tell them the truth."
Worked at this office here for 20 plus years in his career. He continues to work for National. He does arbitrations. He was a significant fixture behind the contract negotiations in Washington, D.C.
It's indeed a pleasure to join in the honoring of my good friend and good union brother, Richard Phillips, for his lifetime involvement, many decades involvement in bettering the lives of postal workers, all workers, and building the American Postal Workers Union. And that work continues as Richard is still a real aid to the National Union in our national contract processes that are going on even as we speak. So congratulations, good brother. My congratulations to your lovely wife and family as well, because without their support, we're not able to make the contributions that we do.
Congratulations, Papa. We're proud of you. We love you.
Good job.
When I decided to give Richard the Lifetime Achievement Award, I knew there was never going to be a retirement party. He was never going to get a gold watch because there wasn't going to be an end. He's just going to keep doing this and doing this and doing this until he can't do it anymore. So hopefully this will suffice for a retirement party or a gold watch, but I know those things are never going to come.
When people show you who they are, believe them. And you know what, over the years, Richard has shown me who he is, and I do believe him. And he's the best guy in the world. And I said that without crying. Oh God, it's not his funeral.
You never had to wonder which side Richard was on.
You never had to wonder which side of the fence Richard Phillips stood on. The union side.
I can't tell you how happy I am that Richard is going to receive this award. It's something he definitely deserves, and I'm glad to be the one to give it to him. That might come up.